I'm going to lean on the back of the chair just in case. I've had my wobbles today, not in any of the changing your mind wobbles, but there was a few stood at the altar today, a few tears that I managed to hold back. So I'd like to thank you, Richard, for your kind words. That was a really lovely speech and sentiments really appreciated from both Georgina and I.
Your wife.
My wife and I.
Carry on.
I was about to say, before Georgina saw my punchline, it's often said, a groom's speech is the last time he gets to speak uninterrupted for 10 minutes. Never could that have been more appropriate than it is today. And if I get through this without a heckle from my wife, let alone a member of the Little Clan, I'll buy the drinks for the rest of the night.
Over whiskey.
So, echoing Richard's sentiments, welcome to everybody, and thank you so much for coming and joining us on this special day. For me, it's been everything I could have hoped for, and a whole lot more. I think I've been best man a few times, and I've always said the groom's speech must be the easiest one, but I've changed my mind. I sat down to try and write something and was just completely overwhelmed. And today I've been overwhelmed in a whole manner of different ways I couldn't have imagined. My bride looks absolutely beautiful. Turning up. Almost on time. So, as most of you know, we met through internet dating late spring 2011, and it was George who made the first move.
Yeah, she's like that.
I was a northerner living in Edinburgh, and Georgina lived somewhere called Weybridge. I'd never heard of Weybridge. It didn't sound very Scottish, but I googled it, and it seems rather posh. But then I realised James Ashmore lives in Surrey, so it can't really be that posh, surely. It's also not in Scotland, it's 450 miles from where I was living. However, not to be deterred by logistics and setting a theme for the next 15, 16 months, we looked at a profile, and I've kept it. So I know what she said. It said she likes entertaining, water skiing, long walks, snow skiing, and finally wine tasting. Which is interesting. Now I'd have said wine drinking. Closer to the truth. She also said she likes juggling 100 things at once, which I think is an underestimate. She likes holidays, of which I think have been more on in the last 16 months than at least 5 or 10 years previous. And finally seems quite keen on gin and tonic, which is also a very accurate representation. We spent the next few weeks and more emailing, chatting, getting to know each other, and arranging to meet. But impatient as Georgina and I were, didn't wait for the time we'd arranged to meet, and hastily one Saturday afternoon, I booked a flight, and a few hours later I was on my way down to meet George. And it was very soon after that Liam provided a code name of Fast Track. So Georgina is so bloody fast track, she's already changed the name on her passport. We've only been married 4 hours.
Really? You have?
That was his! He wouldn't travel. You wouldn't travel, isn't it? You wouldn't have a
So the first day went well. So much so that 3 months later we were on holiday together. 4 months in we moved in. 6 months we're 4,200 metres up a mountain at Annapurna Base Camp in the foothills of Mount Everest. The stars filled the sky like you've never seen. It was about minus 15 degrees, and I decided that this was the right time.
I hadn't showered for 5 days.
We're going to have to buy the drinks all night at this rate. So my heart's racing, I'm nervous, it's icy, George is cold. She hasn't showered for 5 days.
She'll do that all your life, mate.
Thank you. So down I went on one knee, which was a tricky operation in those conditions. And George said to me in that most romantic of moments, "What are you doing?" She also, thankfully, said yes and burst into tears. And from here on, the wedding preparations began. And before we left India, we secured a venue, a date from the vicar, a caterer, thank you, the save the date, a picture that was then to be the save the date card. George had written my speech.
And helps you with saying it.
No,
It is so true.
she hasn't actually got a chance to review it, which has been one of the most painful experiences I think she's probably ever had. I have no idea what's coming next.
She crept in, she's seen it.
So, today in particular, I wanted to say, well, my wife and I would like to say some thanks to some people who, without which today we would not have had such an amazing day. In particular, to Gaynor, who spent many, many hours inventing, buying, making so much of what you see around us today. Also to Richard, who absolutely underestimated his contribution to the events that have got us here today. So on behalf of my wife and I want to say thank you to both of you for so much you've done.
Okay.
I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank my own parents for raising me to be the man I am today.
Yes.
Somebody won, apparently.
That's what you said.
So for all the sacrifices you made, for putting myself, Julie and Stephen through university and all in successful careers, and now as of today, loving, stable marriages.
You're wonderful,
Yes,
Mark.
yes, yes.
Thank you. We can't mention every other individual who's helped to make today truly an astounding success it has been, but hopefully we thanked you all along the way. To everybody who's travelled, as I said, your efforts haven't gone unnoticed, and we know it's certainly everybody travels a long way and makes arrangements with all your wonderful children. Sadly, however, some people are not around to join us on the special day. In particular, both Georgina and Anna's grandparents are not with us. So I'd like you all to raise a toast to absent friends. Whilst we're raising the glass, Will, I believe it's your birthday today. The big 4-0, congratulations. So, I've said before that I really began to fall in love with Georgina before we even met. So, it seemed appropriate. And really that happened via this string of emails. And if you see the book, you'll see bits and pieces in there. So, it seemed appropriate that today I'd also write something a little bit different. A friend of mine who's in the room today once commented that, not satisfied with preparing for the biggest day in our lives, it was a surprise to find that we were also busy moving house 2 weeks before. So today, I'm not satisfied with making an ordinary speech, and we have a little bit of a presentation to come. Some of you may recognise the tune. Please, given my emotional state, help me out along the way.
Oh my God.
you will, so George and I do talk at times about being Team A. And as I said, if you help me out along the way, we'll see if we can get through Team A.
Oh, do it.
That was fantastic, Mark.
White lips, red nails, killer heels, don't fall, running again. You know, struggling to stay awake, especially on trains. And they say she's always on holiday, on a beach somewhere, skiing down a mountain. But these days she's planning China, Brazil, Thailand. Tracy Brayside, Sharon, and George knows the best things in life are yet to come. 'Cause she's just entered the underground, made me a very happy man. And she became my wife today. She likes to walk along on a river path, double up with a spinning glass. And she's so cold at night when I'm not at home. I'm not at home. Jim Kit wears hair on the phones again now, running late again. Mail Mark, text Rob, 20 things at once, always on her phone. And they say she's always on holiday, on a beach somewhere, skiing down a mountain. But these days she's planning Peru, Bangkok, Auckland, sending Tracy postcards. George knows the best things in life are yet to come. She just entered the plan, made me a very happy man. And she became my wife today. She likes to walk along on a river path, one double and a bubble bath. Up in bed with me, answering to me, making me smile, making me proud. Always trying for another day. This time we'll fade out the lights, make love tonight. They say she's always on holiday, on a beach somewhere, skiing down a mountain. But these days she's planning Chile, Sydney, Hong Kong. Tracy's going green now, but George knows the best things in life are yet to come. She just entered the island, made me a very happy man. She became my wife today. I fell in love, and now I'm a married man.
I fell in love with a drum.
I know my wife is my biggest fan, and I just want her to know I'll always try. I'll always try.
I'm always good. I'm always good. I'm always good.
Make her smile.
Amazing. One more amazing.
Hurry up for my wedding!
It's a deal. I'm not cheap though. Thank you to the guys who helped me out with pulling that together. I really appreciate your help. And all the best ideas. We have them at 5 o'clock in the morning on the flight to Edinburgh.
You've got the most amazing husband.
So, thanks for the speech.
Can I interrupt?
Do you know any tunes? No.
Only very briefly, but some of you know obviously that Mark's changed the lyrics to a song there, and it is one of our favourite songs, and he does have a wonderful voice, and I can't believe that he's done what he's done there, and I'm not going to go on, but thank you, it means so much. And the most important thing is that he knows me, as a lot of my close friends do, but in relationships often your partners don't know you so well, but my partner does know me so well, and can predict me in any situation, and changing the lyrics and everything was obviously sentiment to me, as all of you know me today, so thank you, Mark.
Well done, Mark.
So, I've heard a lot today. There's no more. You can have a go later. Karaoke on later. So just back to that. I won't hold you much longer. Apologies for droning on.
Don't need any apologies.
In preparation for today, and a few people have mentioned the word soulmate. So I tried to find a definition for soulmate, and I found one person who wrote that you know you found your soulmate when you stop looking for them.
Yeah.
And from the moment we first met, I've not taken a sideways glance, knowing right from the start that we had something incredibly special. And I could never have dreamed that it would have come to this, but now I've got a wife who I love so much, and I want to do things like that for you, just to make you smile and make you proud of me. Christina is the most loving, caring, passionate and amazing person I've ever met. And I feel 10 feet tall stood by the side of her, knowing she's with me. She's relentless in sucking every single ounce of marrow from that which lies before us. And I admire her so much for doing so. We are lucky enough to be able to take the next year off to travel, and I know we're going to have the most amazing, absolutely very best times of our lives.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And you can have me with you, by the way.
With Tracy.
I'm quitting my
And
job.
finally, today I've not gained another half. I've married that soulmate, gained my partner for life, who will share all the highs, the tears of joy, the tears of laughter with me, and walk side by side, carrying me when she needs to. And somebody who constantly makes me want to be a better husband than I was the very day before. So please, be upstanding, raise your glasses and toast to my beautiful wife, Georgina.
Beautiful wife Georgina and beautiful husband Mark. It's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
Come on, let's have a clap. Let's have a clap. All the best. Good.